Scotty Scott, welcome back to the University of Hawaii. Take me through the process of the final part of the last season, which is just about a month and a half ago, transfer portal, and now being here. Take us through what that was like.
Right. Obviously we finished the season not how we wanted to. Why? Who knows? That's not something I really want to focus on too much. But at the end of the day, I felt that it was best for me to open up my, especially with the COVID transfer rules. We're allowed to transfer for one time as long as you enter the portal before July 1st, with no sit out penalty. So I could transfer and be eligible immediately next year. And I thought that was what's best for me. As a player, I was looking for somewhere that had a winning culture and somewhere that had a reputation for developing guys to the draft. My aspirations are to play professional baseball, obviously to get my degree as well, but to play professional baseball and to win a national championship while doing it in college. And I didn't feel like the University of Hawaii was the place to do that at the time. And with some coaching changes and great conversations with Coach Hill and some of the transfer guys we've got coming back and building on what we have with Halamanu returning and a lot of important pieces coming back. To Shara had great side for us, and now that we picked up Andy Archer and the Donahue cousins coming in, and maybe some other transfers that are rumored to coming in. I'm excited for what we have in store.
So when it came down to making that decision, who was the first person you told that you were coming back, and what was the reaction?
The first person I told, oof, that's tough because I had two conversations with Coach Hill very close. So kind of him. But I told my dad. I walked into my dad's office when he was working this morning, and I said, "Hey, Dad, I'm going to be a Bo." And he said, "Yeah, you are." And he kind of knew that it's Hawaii's. I love Hawaii, and I always said that I wanted to want to stay. And at the time, I didn't feel like it was what it was, but now it's Coach Hill made it very easy for me to decide to stay and to begin to continue to become a Rainbow Warrior.
I want to talk a little bit about you and that relationship with Coach Hill. When I think of the both of you, I mean, I've only known Rich Hill now in a couple of conversations, known you now for a couple of years, and the energy that you both have, there is something that's very hard to match. I don't even think energy drinks could really, equate to that for the regular person. How much does that energy kind of sync you two together? He's very energetic. You're very energetic. What does that relationship feel like with two energetic people wanting to get to that same common goal?
It's awesome. If we had a speakerphone conversation around people we didn't know, people might think we're yelling at each other. But it's awesome. It's honestly, it's an awesome relationship from what we have already. When I first entered the portal and people asked, would I go back to UH? I said, absolutely not. And then I watched Coach Hill's interview, and he said, "Let's go, Bo," so enthusiastically, so many times. I called Matt Wong and said, "Matt Wong, send me Coach Hill's number. I need to talk to him." And I talked to him before he could call me. So I loved his energy. That's something that really attracted to me to him as a coach. It's something that I felt like, we maybe didn't have. Coach Brown had great energy, and me and him had a great relationship. So I saw the energy in Coach Hill and really appreciated it.
This is an opportunity, and Scotty Scott's joining us. This is an opportunity to learn what the transfer portal is like. We don't often get to talk to an athlete who's gone through that experience. You have in that period of time. What was that experience like being in the portal, trying to figure out, because it's really not just playing baseball, but it's going to school, it's life. What was
Right.
that process like?
I had a close family friend of mine who's a coach on the East Coast who deals with prep players, and nobody had advice for what the transfer process would be like this year because there's over 2,000 players. There's no loss of eligibility. People are guys were playing in SEC schools or transferring to other SEC schools because coaches are moving around. So when I first entered the transfer portal process, it was kind of like the Wild West. It was like, okay, I'm getting so much attention within, an hour that I tweeted out. I'm getting all this attention from all these different schools. And it was extremely overwhelming. And I'm like, oh my gosh, I got to make a decision within hours, right? And then it dies down. So like there's this dead period of coaches showing interest, and then coaches kind of gathering within and seeing what they actually need, where they have scholarship money, because all these coaches, they want really good players in general. But it's still the NCAA, right? You still only have 11.7 scholarships, and only X number of guys can be on scholarship. So it's really exciting, and then it gets really boring, and then it gets really exciting again. And honestly, it was a stressful time. And so I'm really glad to be back home, to say the least.
Let's talk about that home part, because one of the things that is always has been endearing to Hawaii fans is the fact that you call this place home, you live it, you breathe it, and we're not just talking about the baseball part. At what point for you did you really feel like you could say Hawaii is home? Not just when it comes to baseball, but living it here. When did you feel like you could confidently and comfortably say that?
It was during the COVID-19 pandemic. Obviously I played my freshman year, and, Hawaii fans coming back my sophomore year were very open and welcomed me. And that was awesome. And of course, going and beating Vanderbilt in Nashville, something that not everybody can say that they've done, right? The Hawaii fans were great through that. Taking 3 out of 4 from the Ducks, who hosted a regional this year. And then Bruno Mars and Mariota were at the game. I mean, that was awesome, right? But I never felt Hawaii being home until, in complete honesty, I got, our season got shut down in March. I got Tommy John surgery in May, and I started coaching in June. And whenever I started coaching and getting involved with the community and the kids and families, and the families that would check on me and ask me how my surgery is going, and I really saw that, there's so much more to life than baseball. And obviously, right, because I'm an athlete, I'm a student, so I go to school and do my baseball and do my training. And I've had part-time jobs here and there, but coaching has been so much more than just a job. It's been a huge part of my life. And just the way that, families took me in as an older son, and kids looked up to me as an older brother. And, people are just showing real aloha. I realized that Hawaii was a different place than, most other parts of the country, and, really different than anything I've ever experienced. And that's when I could really feel confident in calling Hawaii home.
Scotty Scott's joining us. Should I say Coach Scotty Scott, as you
Yeah.
said, because you're coming back here first off as a youth coach, and then of course back to school. How did you get into being a coach?
So I believe it was in the spring of 19, towards the end of my freshman year, when I was having a decent amount of success. Coach Jerry Clayman, who used to coach at UH, who was a part of my recruiting process, he hit me up and was like, "Hey man, like, congratulations on the great season you guys are having." It must have been April or May. He said, "Hey, before you leave, if you'd like, man, I think it'd be really cool. If you have interest, I need some help. You can come volunteer and help out our kids if you have some free time. Like, if not, no worries." And I was like, "Oh, heck yeah. Like, are you kidding me? Like, I get to go play baseball with little kids. Like, I'm totally into it." Did I think that 3 years later it would turn into this? Absolutely not. I mean, I've got a jersey with my name on it, and I'm flying across the country coaching these kids. But, at the end of the day, it's really been a great experience. And I'm really glad that I think it was Moilili Park in April of 2019. And now it's a tent village over there. But I'm really glad that I did go that first April in 2019, because I mean, hundreds of relationships have developed from it.
Do you see yourself being a coach as long as you're able into your 30s, 40s, 50s? Do you see that as part of your life?
I mean, Wade Graham, 80s and 90s, right? I mean, I've always wanted to be law enforcement, because I've always wanted to give back, and to serve and protect, right? But I feel like, ever since coaching has started in my life, I feel like I can, hopefully play baseball through my 30s, and then maybe coach until God takes me up to heaven with him. So that's definitely the next goal of mine.
Well, if there's anybody who can start a one-man party at the less, Scotty Scott is that dude. Scotty, It's good to have you back. Happy to see you coming up in 2022, and thanks so much for the time.
Thanks, Josh. Appreciate it.